Hello everybody, Richard here. Let's get the story started again. Let me take you back to that walled city. Sit down in the grass. Sit down and look towards the gate. He's coming. The storyteller is already approaching. This time he has a cloak wrapped round his shoulders and he's striding with purpose. And he sees us and comes down and sits down and says, yes, I haven't got a lot of time, but I knew you'd be here. And I think you want to hear about, let me see, the princess. She was in the old lady's cottage, that's right, in the darkness with the fire burning. That's right. And they were talking to her and saying that they had a task for her and 3 gifts. He fumbles in his pocket then he says, no, let me just tell you. Because there in the cottage, the old ladies looked at the princess. And the youngest, who was still very old, said, oh, my dear, you don't realise there was a time when there was light. Yes. There was a time, my dear, and I remember clearly when the birds sang in the morning. Yes, in the morning, yes, in the morning. There was a time when we could go down to the river and there were fish swimming in the stream with the morning light catching the bubbles flashing in the sun. Yes, I remember. I can't even remember what I used to remember. And now all we have, my dear, is this darkness. The only thing that keeps us alive is a magic pot. Yes. Because there is a curse on this land. And it was put on it by a wizard. Yes, by a wizard. But you, my dear, you with all your knowledge, all your learning, you can go to the wizard. He lives through the forest, up the mountain, in the castle. You can go to him. You can defeat him. Me? Says the princess. Me defeat a wizard? I don't. Of course you can defeat him because you've read books. Yes, I've read books. You have book learning. I suppose that's what's required. The princess started to think. Well, I suppose. I read some geology and some astronomy and some magic. I read a bit of magic. And I know the language of the birds and of the cats, yes, and of the snakes. I think I read a bit. Yes, I have. There you are, you see. It is up to you. Take our gifts, and we'll give you one more thing. Our cat. And at that, the cat opened his green eyes once again and said, oh, are we going on another journey, shall we? Very well, then. He jumped up, and suddenly it was electric, with its tail sticking straight up. And it padded towards the door of the hut, which opened, and it walked outside and said, are you coming then? And before she knew it, the princess had reached the door of the hut, and the old ladies were looking at her around their chairs and saying, good luck, and my dear, if you defeat the wizard, you will answer the question of yourself. She stepped outside, the door shut, and the cat was waiting for her. It padded along and opened its green eyes, blinking slowly as it looked around. It was dark, but those green emerald eyes shed a light. And it was by that light that they walked away from the rushing of the river towards a great dark forest. Everything was black against black. Great masses of trees, boughs, leaning low, low, brushing her face. She started to shiver, and the cat walked by the princess's side. But as she walked, she heard something whispering among the trees. Something that said, "Get back, get back, get back. Alack, alack, get back. Get back, get back." At last she stopped. "I can't go any further, I can't." The cat turned round and walked back towards her. "Of course you can. Of course you can. I mean, if the frog could climb the mountain, then you can surely walk through a little forest." The princess looked at the cat and said, Which mountain? Which frog?" "Ah," said the cat, "I'll tell you. A long time ago, there was a pond, and a frog lived next to this pond. And one day the frog said, 'I'm going to climb a mountain.' And it hopped all the way to the foot of a mountain. And then it began slowly to hop up. But all the animals were watching. And when they saw a frog climbing up a mountain, they started to laugh. 'You'll never climb up a mountain, you a frog. Go back to your pond.' And that little frog's heart lost its courage, and it slunk back to the pond. 'There, you see, you can't climb a mountain.' But that frog was clever, and he took some tangled weeds and stuck them in his ears. He went back to the mountain, and he began to hop. 'Look at that frog. It's never going up that mountain.' But the frog couldn't hear, and hop by hop, it climbed the mountain. Hop by hop, it climbed that mountain," said the cat, with its emerald eyes glaring, electric into the princess's face. "So you see," says the cat, "just don't listen." And they'd walked now so far that they'd walked out of the forest. And the cat stopped and smiled and said, "That lot back there, they don't know nothing. They never even got this far." That forest is called the Forest of Despair. But now it's just the mountain. And the cat turned its face into the darkness. And looked upwards. And the princess looked and saw far in the distance, high up, there was a glimmer of light. And the cat said, "There's a mountain. And there at the top is a castle. And inside the castle, oh yes, inside the castle, there's a wizard. And although that lot don't really know anything at all, they're right. He has magic, and he has made all this. Oh yes, he has made all this." The cat started to hiss. "Come on, will you come? Come on, will you come? Will you run? Will you run? Come on, will you come?" Its tail up, its fur electric, its eyes blazing emerald green. And the princess, looking, she said, "I've only got bare feet, I don't have shoes. Come up the mountain. Run up the mountain." So they did. They ran up that mountain in the darkness, with the scree falling around their feet, stumbling, slipping, running again. And so, said the storyteller, shivering a little in his cloak, I've got to run too, I'm afraid. But if you meet me here tomorrow, I may be a bit late, but I'll tell you what happened when they got to the top. And if you do the same with me, I will do exactly the same. And you'll know what happened when the cat and the princess reached the castle at the top of the mountain. Until then, goodbye.